I believe we have begun. I do believe we have. Welcome in on this Tuesday. It is let's see, what Beaver told me a little bit ago. It was a tizzy-free Tuesday for a little while today. Welcome in to this tizzy-free Tuesday. In the Bureau, the Mississippi Farm Bureau Insurance Studio, Farm Bureau, go with the home team. They are your home team at Farm Bureau Insurance all across the great state of Mississippi. Your hometown heroes, that's your local Farm Bureau Insurance agents all across the state. What do you all want to get into today? You know, let's be real. Yesterday was about 90%. I think that's right. I think that's close, give or take. Around 90% Mississippi State talk about, they played better against Texas and all these different iterations and things that come out of that. Then it was about 9.8% Ole Miss lost to Kentucky, but they're still alive as far as the playoff stuff goes. And then there was like maybe 1% mentions of anything else. Even, the Alabama-Georgia deal, it was like 1% of the show yesterday that got mentioned here because we just hyper-local. And we had a reaction Monday locally yesterday. So maybe today, I don't know, Tuesday, we could turn the page and look back at a few of those other games, kind of the overall scenario, and see who's what and where. Happy to do that because, we were traveling. The family made the trip to Texas this past weekend to the game and back. That was a lot of fun. Got to take Mary Liddy down on the field afterwards and stuff. That was a lot of fun. They sat up in the touchdown club, nice air-conditioned seating area, free food. No, that was awesome. But you don't want to hear about all that. But what I'm saying is, so it's not like I sat in front of the TV and watched every play of every game. But, after the Texas game on Saturday night, we took, some family that we were with out there in Austin. We took them home, then drove. It took us about maybe 20 minutes from there to get back up to the hotel and get to the hotel room. And so when we got in there, it was like Alabama's blowing out Georgia. And they'd gone to halftime. It's a blowout, And I tell Annabeth, okay, here's what's going to happen. They are going to, it's no question, they are going to make Alabama number one in the rankings this coming week. They'll dock Texas. Even though they won, they struggled with State. And sure enough, that's what happened. But then we got to see the near comeback and all that kind of stuff and stayed up late. So, we saw some football. So, not much NFL. Kept up with scores. The Saints take it on the chin again. But regardless, we can talk about all of that. All of it's on the table. Whatever y'all want to get into is cool with me today. So, hey to you out there in Streamland. If you're on YouTube or Facebook or out there in X, the Xverse, Xaverse, Twitterverse. We used to call it Twitterverse. X, formerly Twitter. Feel free to pop a comment in there. Post it. It pops up, and we can see it right here on the screen and be a part of the conversation that way. You can also text me on the Country Pleasin' text line. Country Pleasin' sausage on grocery store shelves all around the Southeast. It is the best. I'm into some original smoked sausage flavor, and it's real good. It'd be good on or in anything. The number to text, 885-3776. Got it? 601 number, 885-3776. Or call me on the Divinity phone. That way I get to hear your voice. Yesterday the phone rang. Got to hear from some folks. That was fun. So give me a shout on the Divinity Equipment phone line. The number, 897-1059. That's a 601 number, 897-1059. Coming up, thoughts from JS290, listener who's weighing in over there on the NFL on YouTube. Your text coming up. Denzel, Blitz, Anthony, all y'all, I'm coming to you. But first, where is it? Hold on, let me ring it. Hey, B.
Hey, Matt Wyatt.
How's Saints Bro this week?
He still claims, I guess he still claims that the same thing, that at the end of this, or at the end of this stretch when they play the Chiefs, because like I said, he's He's pretty much realized that they're going to lose to the Chiefs.
Okay.
Let's see. So last week it was, well, if we can go, let's see, because that would have made them 3-2.
Mm-hmm. No,
because he thought, before the Falcons game, he's like, if we can get the Falcons, and then we're going to lose to the Chiefs, I'll be okay with 3-2. But now they're going to be 2-3. Mm-hmm. He's still trying to convince me that he's like, it's okay. It's okay. Well, it's only one game under 500. Oh, it's going to keep changing then. Okay, so every week. So eventually, when you're 2-10, what are you going to tell me then? Well, we can still win these last 5 and finish 7-10. I'm okay.
Yeah, I wondered if it was the same thing. And I mean, it is okay. Technically, Beaver, it is still very, very early, and it's just 2-2. But when you look at it, okay, these next 2 games, now that they have lost a 3-point game to the Eagles at home and a 2-point game to the Falcons on the road. Okay, they just lost 2 games by a combined 5 points. All right, Beaver, so look at it now. The next 2 at Kansas City, back home to host the Buccaneers, who lead the division right now at 3-1. They just beat the tar out of the Patriots. The Patriots, I think, scored late and kind of closed it, made it look different, but they would just beat the tar. No, not the Patriots, the Eagles. Final score was 33-16, but it was a blowout before that. Okay, so the Bucs lead the division. They're 3-1, but here are their wins with Baker Mayfield. Okay, a 17-point win in the season opener over the Commanders, who Washington looks like the real deal. But it's early rookie quarterback. But look, Beef, week 2, the Buccaneers went to Detroit and beat them 20-16. That's a really good win. Strangely, their one loss was this 19-point loss to the Broncos, 26-7. Then they just blew out the Eagles at home in Tampa. They got the Falcons next. We maybe learn a little bit more about the Buccaneers. They lead the division. But, yeah, so here's the only other thing about it, though. Okay, the Chiefs just lost Rashee Rice, their best receiver, ACL, out for the year. That's on top of Pacheco. He's out for the year, the running back. I mean, they're the Chiefs. They'll probably find a way to recover. They might not. You know what they ought to do, Beef? You know what the Chiefs ought to do?
What's that?
Tyreek Hill is really unhappy in Miami. Mm-hmm. Let's figure out a way to bring him back.
I think we've learned that they don't need him, because I remember the day he got traded and the talk immediately. And I'll be honest, I thought the same thing. This is going to be terrible. The Chiefs are just going to take like 2 steps back. What are they doing? This is awful.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah.
And Tyreek Hill has really shown himself. Well, you've known how I thought about him for years.
Yeah.
Ever since he, I don't know, punched his pregnant girlfriend.
Right. In the stomach. No.
And yeah. But since then, we've just seen more examples of him proving himself to be kind of a garbage person.
Yeah.
So you don't need him back.
Do that. No, I was just seeing if I could slip one by you there, but I couldn't. You hit that fastball out into the left center field gap. Well, hey, speaking of that division, JS290 says the Falcons have a good defense, and they do. It's outside of Carolina, it's a pretty good division. These next 2 are so important for the Saints. They're sitting there 2-2. All that excitement after they beat the Panthers and the Cowboys, put up over 40 points against each. Guess what we've learned? Neither of those teams any good. See, that's the thing. I think your friend Beaver Saints, bro, I understand the positivity, and he technically is right. They're 2-2. It's so early, whatever. Get better, win games, whatever. It's so early. But the other part of the reality is we were really, really, really excited about the Saints after that 2-0 start. And again, put up 47 against the Panthers, put up 44 in Dallas. But the farther we go, the more we realize those 2 teams, Dallas and Carolina, they're not any good. And then you play the Eagles and lose at home by 3. Go to Atlanta, a really good ball game, and lose by 2. And now it's Chiefs and Bucks back-to-back. Chiefs on the road. These next 2 are huge for New Orleans. Like, no matter how, this goes without saying, but if you go to the defending back-to-back defending Super Bowl champ Chiefs and figure out a way to win this week, okay, it's on again. But if you lose the next 2, conversely, at Kansas City, come home, lose to the Buccaneers in the division, you'd be 0-2 in the division and 2-4 to start. Man, the shine is off. So, like, for the Saints, these next 2 are big. JS290 also said Seahawks and Lions defense last night look about as bad as the Cowboys. Yeah, it's hard to figure out the Lions. They're going to be okay. I like their coach. Y'all like him? Me too. All right. I'll tell you what, before we jump into all the texts, which I'm going to do that here shortly, it's the top of the show. We're going headlines.
Good evening. I'm Ron Burgundy, and this is what's happening in your world.
Good evening, and welcome to Eyewitness News.
Here's what's making news.
Headlines on the show brought to you by the Mortgage Man Group, powered by Bank of England, and 𝐌𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬 Headline number one. It's a sad day in baseball. Embattled Major League Baseball legend Pete Rose, the all-time hits leader, has passed away at 83 years old. Of course, you know, he agreed to that lifetime ban from Major League Baseball in 1989 after the investigation found that he bet on games, including those he managed and played in. A spokesperson for Clark County in Nevada confirmed on behalf of the medical examiner that Rose passed away on Monday. That was yesterday morning. He was found by a family member. They're going to do an investigation. No signs of foul play. So rest in peace, Charlie Hustle. Number 14 for the Cincinnati Reds. Also sad news yesterday in the NBA. Hall of Famer Dikembe Mutombo passed away. Had brain cancer, fought it, and eventually succumbed. Passed away yesterday at the age of 58. Very, very young. Dikembe Mutombo, shot blocker. And then headline number 3, sources are saying that talks are ongoing behind the scenes in college football between the Big Ten and the SEC regarding a possible scheduling partnership. Now, this ought to perk your ears up right here. Athletics directors in the Big Ten and the SEC are discussing a possible partnership in football scheduling, along with what they want for automatic bids in the next college football playoff. You may have already heard a little bit about this. It was a headline, I think, as early as yesterday. We didn't really have time to get into it yesterday. But they're going to have an in-person meeting in Nashville, not this week, but next. It's a continuation, it says, of an advisory group for both conferences, which formed back in February. Now, let me just stop right there and say this. All right, should the Big Ten and the SEC be collaborating on football scheduling? Yes. This is not Black Helicopter coming up with conspiracy theories at all. I'm just reading the tea leaves. It is one step, maybe further, not the first step, but it's one more step towards what I think is going to be basically a breaking off of the Big Ten and the SEC together and bringing a few others along with them. When you say a few others like Clemson, Florida State, ACC, Notre Dame, obviously. You get me? I don't know, maybe Baylor, TCU out in Texas. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Of course, Cal and Stanford are in the ACC. Maybe that's part of it too. But just know you're getting these two conferences, the Big Ten and the SEC, are going to sit down. It's going to happen in less than 2 weeks in Nashville. They're going to hammer out together, collectively, together, not separately. We're the SEC. We're competing with the Big Ten. And we're the Big Ten. We're going to outrace and out-expand the SEC. And the SEC, we're going to – no. They're going to sit down and schedule each other, have a scheduling agreement in football. It's like bringing these two, which we know are the two leagues anyway, not every team, but leagues collectively that are separated from everybody else. They're going to collaborate on scheduling, and they're going to sit down and say this. Just get ready. They're going to say this. The Big Ten and the SEC are going to say, together, both of us, Big Ten, SEC, if there are 12 playoff spots, we want 4 each. 4 for the Big Ten, 4 for the SEC, and then 4 for everybody else. Just get ready. And it's just one step towards what I think is eventually going to be the most powerful in the sport, that are too big to fail, that will then say, okay, here's what we are going to do for ourselves and policing ourselves regarding paying the players. And then they're going to go, hey, fine, you can say that that's going to hold us back and that some kid's going to go and play for, who? Name one. Boise State. Because they won't have any cap like we've got on ours over here. Okay, fine. What's that going to be like? 2 guys? It'll be no different than when like Herschel Walker signed with the USFL instead of the NFL. What did he eventually do? Transfer to the NFL. No different. So I absolutely Hail State fan on the live stream. He's on YouTube. He says it's looking more like the NFL every day. SEC, AFC, and NFC. I'm telling you, that's what it is. They want to do that. And like I have told you, even coaches who are actively head coaches have been talking behind the scenes and in front of different groups of people and saying, hey, look, Vegas is driving a lot of this. They got all the money, all of it. You think they got money, and they're going to get what they want because TV follows them and they follow TV and all this. And they're saying that what Vegas wants is an NFL-esque league in terms of size and market and interest. Not necessarily market, but just in terms of size, where you don't have any more. You have fewer 35, 38-point lines like you had between Texas and State. You have fewer, like slash off get rid of a bunch of these games that are like that we've had over the last 10 or 15 years of Alabama versus, UT Martin, Ohio State versus Akron. We don't want that. And so we'll schedule each other. And it'll be big, humongous games every weekend. And we can afford to put a cap on how we want to spend and pay players and revenue share. We'll all police ourselves the way the NFL does. And you can say, yeah, well, if you put a cap on yourselves, then what's to stop a player from going to, Boise State or somewhere like that and cashing in more than he can with you? And then they're going to say, yeah, well, so what? You don't want to play in this league? You didn't have to. We got all the TV slots. He can go there for a year or two. If he's good enough, he can transfer in here because that's what he's going to want to do ultimately if he wants to play on TV. If he wants to play in primetime, that's what's going to happen. What do y'all think? Let me know. Okay, let's get it started. I delayed this too long in getting to your text, and I apologize for that. First up on the Country Pleasing text line, Country Pleasing Sausage, is White Denzel. Rest in peace to Charlie Hustle. And then the age-old argument. Should Pete Rose be in the Hall of Fame? And, of course, now it's going to have to be, bless his heart, it's going to have to be posthumously. Should Pete Rose be in the Hall of Fame, the Baseball Hall of Fame, posthumously? And my thing would be, well, if they didn't do it while he was alive all those years, why would they go do it now? Truth is, he should have been in there from the get-go. To some degree, But penalties are penalties and rules are rules. Bulldog Blitz texts the show, and he says, have you watched the running back from Boise? And dude is a full-grown man that will play in the league. Yeah, I have seen some of the highlights, and he is like, yeah, he's big time. He'd make a lot of teams better. Hey, you know, there's another player who's a full-grown man that I just discovered, saw a highlight or two this weekend, and now I want to watch their games. Who's this big tight end for the Steelers? Have you seen him? I think he wears number 80, maybe. You talk about incredible and humongous. Anthony texts the show. He says, Matt, thanks for doing your show. All us Bulldogs really enjoy listening and sharing. Well, thank you, Anthony. Really, it's for you. There's no point in getting on here and doing what I want to do. It's just that, thank goodness, what I want to do lines up with what you want to do. And that is, there's plenty of places if you want to go echo chamber about Bama, Georgia, and all that kind of stuff. We'll get in here and talk about what we're thinking about. And most of the time, honestly, I'm thinking about state, and that lines up with you. So I appreciate the kind words. Okay, just getting started on this Tuesday in the Bureau, the Mississippi Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Stick around. Back after this.
Today's game from Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Time was their breakfasts were gloomy. They just didn't feel right, and they didn't know a delicious cereal could help their sad plight. So they tried this and tried that, but irregularity kept coming back all the same. For as often the case, lack of bulk in their diet was actually to blame. Once at the grocer's, the wife was so drooping and sagging that a neighbor said, "Get on Kellogg's All-Bran wagon. Why, All-Bran has a flavor that's scrumptious to eat. So rich and nut-like, makes breakfast a treat. And of course, Kellogg's All-Bran can help you each day to youthful regularity, the dietary way." "Well, it might do some good," said the wife with a sigh. "Guess I'll get some All-Bran and give it a try." Soon, breakfasts at her house were happy and bright, for delicious Kellogg's All-Bran set their day off right. Yes, All-Bran supplies all the bulk in your diet, you see, that you may need for youthful regularity. And no half-brand cereal possibly can provide this help as surely as Kellogg's All-Bran. A delicious, non-habit-forming aid to your diet. You're sure to like All-Bran. Just buy it and try it.
Get on the Kellogg's All-Bran wagon with the best bran in the land. The cereal, the taste bran, the cereal that's All-Bran. A breakfast treat that can't be beat. Be a regular guy and climb aboard the All-Bran wagon. Eat Kellogg's All-Bran.
What is the secret of this enchanted book? What wonders are hidden within its pages? What magical spell does it cast on all who read it? What is the secret of the never-ending story?
But that's impossible!
You will enter a world where a young boy's imagination becomes a vivid reality. The world of Atreyu and Artax, the Rockbiter, and a good and kind gnome. A world that is vast and eternal, treacherous and dazzling, unforgettable and free.
Yeah!
for anyone who's ever made a wish, believed in a fantasy, or had a dream. This is the never-ending story.
It's a new thing. It's a fun thing. It's a swing wing.
It's a what?
It's a swing wing. It's a wing wing. A brand new classic grand fun thing.
It's a what?
It's a swing wing. A fun thing. And now it's your favorite store thing.
It's a what?
Mazda announces some great news for truck buyers. Right now, you can beat the already outstanding value of the $67.95 Mazda SE5. Introducing Mazda SE5 Plus 5. $625 worth of extra features at no extra charge from Mazda. You get a bed liner, mud guards, sliding rear window, floor mats, and AM/FM.
All right, back with you. Regarding Pete Rose, rest his soul, passed away yesterday at 83 years old. JS290 on YouTube says Pete Rose admitted to betting on his own team to win based on, quote, insider info, for example. He was so sure of his team that he'd come out ahead betting on them to win. And that's according to JS290. What do you think? Unnamed texter, Country Please and text line says, you have the best C Spire commercial. Yeah, the Wyatts, myself and Annabeth and Mary Liddy were featured in a C Spire commercial that's out there. We've been getting text messages. People are seeing it all over the place, and it's really cool. It's true, too. True story. And then we'll load up and go all over the place, and I do, and can connect from pretty much anywhere. And I have done many of these radio shows talking right into my phone. And Beaver can attest to that. And so can the everyday listeners can attest to that, because when it happens, it sounds a little different, but it still sounds really good. You know, I don't like when I travel on the road, I don't take big expensive microphones and headsets. I just talk into the phone and we do it that way. And it works. It works. So glad y'all got to see that. Somebody else mentioned that, and I really do. Somebody else mentioned that C-Spire commercial and told me I'm truly a blessed man, and there is no doubt about it. Just no doubt about it. I mean, I am. Airborne Dog text the show, said Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame. Said if they offered the family now, I feel the family should decline. Not good enough alive, not good enough after. White Denzel says this: Halls of Fame are museums telling the storied history of sports. Museums don't tell exclusively good stories. So can you tell the story of baseball history without Pete Rose? And then says, there's your, does Pete Rose belong in the Hall of Fame answer? Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. You know, that's what they are. You know, and Denzel, how about this? What if you look at it from a totally different angle? Instead of looking at it through this, down this angle of, okay, out there is the Hall of Fame. Here is Pete Rose who bet on baseball. Should this Pete Rose be in that Hall of Fame? What if you looked at it the other way and went, from the perspective of the Hall of Fame, it doesn't help them to not have him in there. It actually diminishes, I think, to whatever degree it is. And we could argue on that. You could argue it's like a small degree of diminishing their relevance versus a larger. But it's what I'm saying is it's a detriment to the Hall of Fame that he's not in there because of who he is and what he did in some shape, form, fashion. And the same thing with Barry Bonds, right? So I'd go with that. Jason in Flagstaff, Arizona. He texted the show. Was that yesterday when he texted the meme of Lane Kiffin there and said, playoffs? Playoffs? I don't want to talk about playoffs. You kidding me? And Jim Mora, playoffs? Jason in Flagstaff says, it might not be imminent. It may take a decade or more, but eventually this is going to lead. Okay, he's right. Okay, he's right. Jason's right. So let me preface what he's saying. It's the story about how the Big Ten and the SEC, it is announced they are about to have a meeting in Nashville to talk about scheduling each other in football. Jason says, eventually this is going to lead to that 35 to 50 team Super League we've all been talking about. And a whole lot of hurt feelings among people who thought, quote, historical connections meant their schools were safe. Well, Jason, you're right. And to what degree, I don't really know, because I guess you would have to be at the table or fly on the wall when the commissioner is in this chair at the end of the table, the commissioner of the Big Ten on the other end of the table, and in between in the seats are the leading executive at ESPN, ABC, the leading executive at Fox, the leading people with, I don't know, casinos and folks in Vegas, the sports gambling industry. And when those people are talking about it, you'd have to be at that meeting or on the wall to figure out how exactly are they willing to frame it. Tiger David texts the show. And he said, I played baseball in high school and college, and I'd like to know what inside info you can have to guarantee a win, because I don't know. Talking about Pete Rose betting on his team and having inside info. He said, and his stats are better than 90% of the players in baseball. Also, he says, I think when the SEC and Big Ten combine, some small teams in both leagues may get in order to help them. Yeah, I mean, could be. You know, some of it could be regional things and state footprints and that sort of thing from a TV perspective. Because, look, there is a reason, as it pertains to like Ole Miss and State, there is a reason that on the television side, they have always valued so much the footprint and the states you are in from a footprint standpoint. There's a reason. TV didn't just come up with that because it looks good on the map and all the colors are filled in. It's because those are real numbers of people watching. And for TV, it's real numbers and of people watching the commercials and the ads that they sell to advertisers. Does that make sense? So like, if a TV company goes to, let's just say Ford Automotive nationally, and puts in front of them, say, this is where we have viewers. So if you advertise with spend your money with us for this amount of money, your commercials are going to be shown to these people. Well, they don't want to put a map, their viewership map, and it look like Swiss cheese with holes in it everywhere. You see. The TV execs want to go and sit down with Ford Motor Company, put a map up there, and it's all colored in. Everybody in this hole there, we don't have any holes. We don't have any. See, so from a TV perspective, we have to remember that. That's why they look at it that way. And that's why the derivative of that has been the SEC went and added Missouri. Now you got the whole state of Missouri that you can color in on your map of viewers. See what I mean? It's why they went and did Texas, obviously. And when we have talked about expansion, it's why the SEC has never jumped on going after Florida State. They already got Florida from a television revenue perspective. You see? And it's why the smart people have always talked about North Carolina and Virginia as states that the SEC would be more interested to go into in terms of bringing a team in, because from a league perspective, it's adding an entire state to your footprint that you don't already have. You then go back to the ESPN and say, hey, we got a new map now. Look at this. See, our map's bigger. All that red area, that's all us. Make sense? And so TV pays more for it because it means actual people looking at the ads that they have sold to an advertiser. And the more people watching it, the more ads they sell, and the higher the price goes. Capitalism 101. J-Rock texted the show and said the Hall of Fame has Pete Rose memorabilia and a display of his artifacts. They just won't let him in. It's so hypocritical. Gosh, it really is. Do they do this? I've never been there. Do they do the same thing with Barry Bonds? Do they have Barry Bonds and Sosa and McGuire stuff in the Hall of Fame? Tiger David jumped back in and he says, State, Vandy, Kentucky, Ole Miss may leave. Yeah. But see, again, I don't know. I mean, I honestly think, I think because of I think Vandy might be in more danger, but the fact is that they're a school that's located in Nashville helps them, but I don't think State and Ole Miss are in danger of it. Just because of the business model you can't have that hole in the middle of the rest of your map. And then you go, well, they could have one and not the other. But honestly, they wouldn't do that. They wouldn't do that. So, yeah, I think it's different. I look at it, I guess what I'm saying is I look at it differently than maybe some others do on that. But it could be. I don't know. I'm not the be-all, end-all. Mine is just an opinion like everybody else. Hunter over here on YouTube, in the comment section, says Matt and Cole Kubalik are the two best in the game. Both can break down film like a coach. Said, did State play Auburn during your career? He played the same time you did. Yeah, we played him. Actually, I don't know if Cole and I are the same age. I might be a year ahead or a year behind. I'm not sure. But the years that I was in school, in the 4 years of our eligibility as a class, my class at State, we won against Auburn 3 out of the 4 times we played them. We lost in 96, but we won at Auburn in 97, beat Auburn in Starkville in 98, and beat them again at Auburn in 99. So we had good success the years that I was in school. I was in school at the right time because we had great defenses that were the primary reason we were winning all those games. All right. Hour 1, rolling along, staying connected to you because of C Spire. Back after this.
Now's the time to get
Thursday, it's Cosby starting off a night of family fun. And leave it to Family Ties to keep the laughs coming.
Oh, no. What are we going to do? Everything's under control.
Then on Cheers, will Norm fink on a friend to get a promotion?
Yeah, yes, Stum. Yes.
And the fun continues with Night Court. Thursday.
For over half a century, dairymen have tried to capture in cans the flavor of pure, fresh milk. And now Foremost has discovered the secret with an evaporated milk that's closest by far to fresh milk itself.
Kind of hard to believe, isn't it? An evaporated milk that doesn't have that old-fashioned evaporated milk taste. But it's true, and you can prove it. You know how most evaporated milks taste in coffee. The flavor goes flat. But try Foremost. You'll see it's white, the way milk ought to look, not drab tan like other brands. And when you taste it, well, if you're anything like me, you'll never even know it isn't pure, fresh cream. You try it and see. That's Foremost, the closest thing in cans to pure, fresh milk. Remember, your family gets the most from Foremost.
Coca-Cola, come on, girl, gotta share a Coke with you. Let the feeling show through. You wanna live a little bit more. That's what the taste of Coke is for. Coke is like everybody wants a little life. Coca-Cola, Coke is like everybody wants.
Come on, Harry, come on. We're getting our picture taken.
Special moments. Times of your life you'll want to remember. In pictures.
Smile, Howard. Smile.
To help make those pictures look as good as they can, make sure Kodak paper is behind them. If you don't see these words, it isn't Kodak paper. Just look for this sign when you get your pictures. Kodak paper, for a good look at the times of your life.
See, wasn't that fun?
Stop the confusion. Stop the confusion. Everybody wants to get into the act with Kellogg's Variety Pack. Buster wants the cornflakes. Pop wants a pep. Mama loves the Raisin Bran. Mama is hip. Sister loves Rice Krispies. And there's Uncle Jack. He loves Kellogg's shredded wheat. Kellogg's makes it fun to eat. Breakfast with Variety Pack. Okay, folks, there's your favorite individual box of cereal, fresh from Kellogg's Variety Pack, untouched by human hands, except your own. That don't mean you gotta eat with 'em. Each individual box comes to your FOD, fresh on delivery from Battle Creek, right to your own dish. Yeah, everybody wants to get into the act with Kellogg's Variety Pack. Yes, sir, Kellogg's Variety Pack.
Here comes the one, the delicious one. Heinz is the big rich one. There's only one ketchup with this flavor pouring on. So thick, so rich, so second to none.
Only one ketchup stands for this kind of thickness with this kind of taste. Heinz.
Heinz is the big rich one.
I love the rich, whole wheat goodness of Kellogg's Mini Wheats. But the delicious frosted side makes the rich kid in me open wide.
The nutritious shredded wheat helps keep me on my toes. But the little ballerina in me thinks the taste steals the show.
Kellogg's Mini Wheats, wholesome shredded wheat for the adult in you, great taste for the kid in you. So they're delicious and nutritious.
The whole grain wheat.
And worldwide at thezone1059.com.
All right. Rolling along with you here on this Tuesday. In the Bureau, let's see what JS290 said here on YouTube. He said, it's like what Deion Sanders said about the Football Hall of Fame. He said, there are transcendent players, and then there are very good, popular players. Yeah, that's right. You know, but I would say also, you know, football is so much different than baseball because, you know, in football you got kickers, okay, and you have punters, which it's like those guys are playing a different game than a linebacker, than a left tackle, than a quarterback. And they're all going into the same deal because the sport is so much different, right? You know, so I like you could say, and you would say, because it's true, Ray Guy, in terms of punting, he was transcendent. He was in terms of punting, but was Ray Guy, and is Ray Guy, the sort of household name that Ray Lewis is? Well, no. Two different eras, two totally different positions, two totally different types of athletes, two totally different jobs on the field. And so that's the other thing about football too. You can talk about transcendent players versus very good popular ones in the Hall of Fame. But, you know, like compare, well, here's a modern example, like guys who are trying to get into the Hall of Fame, okay? Compare Charles Cross, what is he, a second or third year? Second year player in the NFL. Third year player. Yeah, third year player in the NFL. Left tackle out of Mississippi State from Laurel, Mississippi for the Seattle Seahawks. He might be the best offensive tackle in the NFL. He's that good. He's downright incredible. Okay. Plays on the same team as DK Metcalf, who also, in his own right, is downright incredible, okay? But he's not the best wide receiver in the NFL. Is he in the conversation? Maybe it depends on who you talk to, and he's like dependent on a guy throwing him the ball. See, Charles Cross's job is not dependent on anybody giving him the football. He can be on the worst team in the league, and he's still going to be the best tackle in the league because it's just him and the other guy. DK Metcalf needs somebody to throw him the ball. But the thing is, who's on TV commercials? It's DK Metcalf. The nature of his position is he's more visible, right? Right. Both trying to make into the Hall of Fame. This has happened before. This is almost hypothetical, but I'm using that same example because this has happened before. But it's absolutely likely that, let's just say, both somewhere down the road, both of them get into the Hall of Fame. Charles Cross and DK Metcalf. It's likely. We'll see how their careers play out. But it could happen, because it's happened before, that Metcalf is in that very good, popular player category. And everybody will know about it. Whereas Cross has the kind of talent and is playing a kind of football that by the time he's done, he may be one of the transcendents. He may be one of the best offensive linemen of all time before it's all said and done. But the nature of the position is so different. It's like, I guess the point I'm making is, you could go receivers and quarterbacks, occasionally a running back, every now and then a linebacker. They might not be transcendent. They're just very good, popular players. But they're household names, they're much more well-known, and they're on a million TV commercials. Yet there's some transcendent player who's an offensive tackle, who's a defensive tackle, who's a corner, and you don't even know as much about them. And it works that way in football sometimes. Sven over here on YouTube, he comments, he says, they won't let Mike Leach in the College Football Hall of Fame because he won only 59.9% instead of 60%, but completely changed the game. Hall of Fame people are simply weirdos. Pete Rose should be in 20 years ago. Well, here's the thing about that, though. All right, the baseball deal with Pete Rose, it's apples and oranges to me if you compare it to, say, Mike Leach and the college deal, because baseball, there's this unwritten rule, to borrow a term from something that Lane Kiffin likes to talk about, these unwritten rules. I would also say that faking an injury is an unwritten rule, or not faking an injury is an unwritten rule, but I digress. Regardless, okay, so it's not even unwritten, it's written. You cannot bet on baseball. You cannot gamble on it. You can't do it. They tell you when you're a rookie, don't. He went and did it. And it's different, right? So they're not letting him in because of that. Whereas this football thing, college football thing with Mike Leach, that's interesting to me. It's a statistical threshold. How do you equate fame with statistics? It's like those two things. One is subjective and what's another word for it? Ambiguous. That is fame. The Hall of Fame. One is subjective and ambiguous. The other is objective and undeniable, which is stats. And it's like going, how are you going to have a Hall of Fame, but stats is what does it? I mean, in baseball it does some of that also. That's one thing I don't understand either. It'd be one thing if you're calling it the Hall of Stats, the Hall of Statistics. You're literally calling it the Hall of Fame in this sport. Why are you using stats? You know what it is? It's because sports writers, for the most part, those types of people, they cannot think with the right side of their brain. They have to only think with the left. It's just got to be a simple number. They cannot think abstractly at all about sports and about voting. They can only think in numbers. And that to me is cheap. It's immature. It's cowardly. I'm sorry, it is. Like, I'm not going to actually have a personal thought and gumption on this. I'm going to base it on numbers. Well, anybody can do that. A fifth grader can figure out the numbers. What do I need you for? All right? You see what I'm saying? Anybody with me on that? Maybe I'm the idiot. Maybe it's me. Bulldog Blitz texted the show and said, don't leave out the fact that a quarterback needs to break multiple records or win a Super Bowl to make it. Well, right. Broke records. Dan Marino broke records, never win a Super Bowl. Eli Manning, I don't know if he broke any records, but he won 2 Super Bowls. And look, again, by the same argument I just made, as I pour some more hot coffee from High Point Roasters in New Albany, Mississippi. Hall of Fame. How are you going to not have Eli Manning in it? Of course you're going to have him in it. It's the Hall of Fame. It's not the Hall of Records. It's not the Hall of Flashy. It's the Hall of Fame. It's not the Hall of Stats. Flowtown Ghost said, wonder if Leach's percentage includes other teams' vacated wins. I don't know about that. I don't think it works. Well, see, Flowtown, again, there's a misconception. In the college game, and according to the NCAA, when a team over here gets in trouble and they have to vacate the wins come off their record. But the teams they beat, the losses do not come off their record. They stay on there. The losses stay, so the game technically happened on this side. It's just the win comes off over here, so the game technically didn't happen on this side. And that is just example number 1,298,478.5 of why the NCAA is dumb and has done dumb, stupid, unrealistic, nonsensical stuff constantly and pass it all off under the guise of, well, we got to justify our jobs. I really need to keep this job. I mean, that's all it is. All right, look, and I know I haven't made it through everything. JS290 and Jay and Hunter, Sven, Hail State fan, others on the live stream. I'll come to you. We'll pick the conversation up on your comments on the live stream in hour number 2 when we come back in just a bit. For Beaver, I'm Matt. All of us here in the Bureau. Hour 1 in the books. Hour 2 coming up. Stick around.
Have you ever wished for one product that would clean and shine almost everything in your house? Here it is, Clean and Shine. Like magic, Clean and Shine leaves a nice shine on fine wood furniture, so you don't need furniture polish. It cleans and shines mirrors, so you don't need glass cleaner for mirrors. It cleans and shines refrigerators, like this kitchen product. Even countertops, tile, and vinyl. Try new Clean and Shine, the foam that cleans and shines almost everything in your house.
Someday when people look at me, they'll say, there goes Roy Hobbs, the best there ever was.
TriStar Pictures presents Robert Redford in The Natural, the story of a father and a son.
You got a gift, Roy, but it's not enough.
Of love.
He means the world to me.
And desire.
I'm not waiting for true love to come along, Roy.
A champion.
Roy Hobbs comes along once, maybe twice in everybody's lifetime.
And his destiny.
With or without the records, they'll remember you.
Best there is now, and best there ever will be.
I wouldn't bet against me.
I already have.
Robert Redford, Robert Duvall, Glenn Close, Kim Basinger, Wilford Brimley, Barbara Hershey, Robert Prosky, and Richard Farnsworth as Red. The Natural.
Do you know me? Would you believe I'm Bugs Bunny? I'm also the voice of many other cartoon characters. But in here, they don't care if I'm Elmer Fudd. So I carry an American Express card, the one card I need for travel and entertaining, for business and pleasure. Why, without this, the only way I'd get any attention is by saying, that's all, folks.
To apply for a card, call 800-528-8000.
The American Express card. Don't leave home without it.
The following is a presentation of TBS Sports. Exclusively on Superstation TBS. Superstation TBS presents the Atlanta Braves, America's team. Atlanta Braves baseball is brought to you by Budweiser. Beechwood aged for that distinctively clean, crisp taste that makes Budweiser the king of beers. This Bud's for you. By the official airline of the Atlanta Braves, Delta. We love to fly, and it shows. And by Eckerd Drugs, America's family drugstore.
If a man you've never met before suddenly gives you flowers, that's elation, the exciting new fragrance from Impulse. Thursday, it's Cosby starting off a night of family fun. And leave it to Family Ties to keep the laughs coming.
Oh, no. What are we going to do? Everything's under control.
Then on Cheers, will Norm fink on a friend to get a promotion?
Yes.
And the fun continues with Night Court.
I'm here to strip for Dan Fielding.
Thursday.
Oh, what a meal, oh.
Hamburger helper lasagna.
For your family.
Authentic Italian taste.
Hearty robusto. But not too spicy, eh?
Hamburger helper lasagna turns your plain hamburger into a delicious Italian meal with authentic Italian taste. Curly Italian noodles, rich tomato sauce, and a better blend of spices.
Hamburger helper. Lasagna.
Helper, hamburger helper.
Make a great meal, oh.
I was born and raised in Greenville. I've always called Greenville home. This is where I, was raised, went to high school, graduated high school, worked all my life here leading up to going to college. So even when I moved from Greenville, I always told people, they asked me where you're from, I always said I'm from Greenville. I have mother, father, brother, niece, aunt, all live here in Greenville. So this is home. This is where I, live, and I've just always called it home. Small town, I feel like I could walk in any place tomorrow and know 2 to 3 people in there. It's small town. Someone's on the side of the road broken down. Hey, you need a boost, flat tire, you need help changing it. That's just kind of, what I love about this area, the blue.
Now, here we go. At the Zone, 1059.com.
Here we go. Rolling along with you. Hour number 2, off and running in the Bureau, the Mississippi Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Mississippi Farm Bureau Insurance. Go! With the home team, they are your home team at Farm Bureau all across the great state of Mississippi. Welcome in. You can be a part of it. I hope you will be. And the way you're going to do that is you will text, call, or comment on the live stream there. Hey, everybody, on YouTube and Facebook and out there on, well, it's X now. X, formerly Twitter. Hey, I got to check in with Beav on something real quick. And I sent him this. This was when I was in Texas, and it might have even been on game day. And he was busy doing other stuff. Hey, Beaver.
Hey, Matt Wyatt.
I sent you forwarded you a couple of things I saw on Instagram. Yeah, let's see. That one came through on Saturday at 8:05 a.m. Were you awake on Saturday? Saturday.
I was.
You were? Okay. You get up early on Saturdays?
I don't. Matt Wyatt, what? You're basically telling me that you've always believed that I was really lazy is what I'm hearing.
No, it's Saturday. If you sleep in to 9 or 10 on Saturday, that's not lazy. It's Saturday. Now, it'd be different if it was Tuesday.
My body doesn't let me sleep in.
Okay.
I've reached that point.
Okay. You're a creature of habit. Okay, then. So you were... The second thing I sent you was this holiday thing that they're taking this cream cheese, caramel, and like Heath bits, mixing it all together, and they put it on a plate and you dip your apple slices in it. I sent you that. And then after I sent it, I thought, well, that's a food item. And Beaver's going to look at it and go, and this is my impression of you. He's going to be like, Matt Wyatt, what are we, 4 years old? Apple slices and caramel and cream cheese? Okay, but I just thought it looked good.
You know, I'm actually watching it back right now, what you speak of.
Okay.
And everything else looks delicious, but I don't have any need for those apples.
Okay.
It's like the other day when I told you I don't condone vegetables.
He's not a big apples guy.
If we've resigned ourselves to eating cream cheese, cheesecake filling, and bits of Heath, why are we trying to put apples in there? Are we trying to make it somewhat healthy? No, just to get a spoon and shove the sugary stuff into your gullet.
What about graham crackers? You about dipping some graham crackers in there? Now we're on to something.
That might be all right. Oh, I meant to send you this, actually, now that we're on the topic of the things that we send to each other on Instagram. I meant to send this to you. The other day, I was scrolling through, and, they give you the most random suggestions on things to look at. And one of the things that popped up was someone putting, "This is back at Costco. It's a life changer."
Okay.
And it's an electric s'mores maker.
Wait a minute. In the house?
Yeah, you can use it anywhere.
Okay, wait a minute. When you say electric s'mores maker, it makes it for you, some contraption that does it for you, or what?
So let's see if I can explain this. It's got a little tray with it. In the middle, it's a little heating source.
It's a burner. Beaver, we have it. We own that in our house.
Oh.
The light bulb just went off. I wasn't yelling at you. I was yelling out of excitement. The light bulb just went off. We have that. I know what you're talking about. It's round.
Yeah. Silver.
I think the one
got a little tray to put your s'more stuffs in.
Yes. It's
little
got compartments around it, and in the middle is this thing that you plug it in and it's like a torch. And you can roast some marshmallow on it. and make s'mores right there in the house. We got that thing around here somewhere. I'm so glad you said that. I forgot about it. Need to fire that thing up. Beav, you want to borrow mine? I don't know.
I could use it because I've never had a capability to make s'mores. I don't start fires much in the backyard. So, you know, my life mostly is s'moreless.
You should go back there and build a fire. I think we're out of the burn ban now. I don't know. It's October the 1st, so it's technically fall. It's not quite cool enough for backyard bonfires and campfires. I mean, it is for me, but for most folks, it's not.
You need to reword that. It's not just not quite. It's nowhere near s'mores weather. Can't be starting fires out there.
I kind of like the sweat. I like to build a fire where it's hot enough that it just kind of fits in with the environment. That's me. But Beav, you could make s'mores in the house, okay, and then get on YouTube, I bet, and go back and watch an entire episode of the thing I sent you on Instagram from an account called Retro Clips. Did you know that in the 70s there was a TV show called Celebrity Bowling?
Oh, no, I didn't until you sent me that.
I've got to look it up right now. The one that I saw was from a TV show. Okay, 1975, a TV show. It was Celebrity Bowling, and it was the Waltons versus the Brady Bunch. Hold on, let's see here. Did it pique your interest at all, Beaver, when I sent that to you? Because I thought, now this, we need to bring this back.
I'd be okay with it. Yeah, I would be good with celebrity bowling. Who would we get? The stars of today?
Oh, I know. Can you imagine? Beaver, what would the ratings be if tonight, Tuesday night, just name a time, 7 o'clock on, let's say, NBC, it was The Office versus Parks and Rec Celebrity Bowling? Everybody would watch it.
This could be one of your finest ideas.
I mean, it absolutely is. Okay, and look at this. The original show, the original Celebrity Bowling TV show, Beaver, it was on from 1971 to 1978. Now, granted, you weren't born then yet. The deal is, I was 2 years old when it went off the air. The thing is, shows during that era, like the Brady Bunch, like the Waltons, we're all familiar with them because they reran those things in excess throughout our lives. This, I never heard of it before. I never heard of it. Let's see here. Celebrity Bowling, American Syndicated Bowling Sports Series, hosted by Jed Allen, 71-78, Los Angeles, blah, 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 KTT, the studios of KTTV. Each week, the show featured 4 celebrities, a pair of bowling lanes installed inside of KTTV's studios. Beaver, this is straight out of Anchorman, by the way. I'm talking about they built a bowling alley inside their studios there at the TV station. Put 2 teams against each other. The winning team won prizes for home viewers, because they didn't need it. They're celebs. Based upon the level of winning scores, there was an additional prize for the viewer associated with the team that bowled in the most strikes. The rules, cast, let's see. They tried to bring it back in 1987. In 1987, 26 episodes of the new Celebrity Bowling was produced in national syndication. We were alive then, Beav. We missed it. Remind me again what year you were born, Beav. You mind telling me that?
82.
Okay. You were just a little guy when this came out.
Treating me like I'm Chwip over here. I'm just a whittle guy.
I'm just a whittle guy. It said in 2008, TVS Television Network began producing Celebrity Bowling for TV syndication. using the bowling alley at the Silver Nugget Casino in Nevada. 13 episodes were produced. Again, don't remember that. So, they've tried it. Apparently, it wouldn't catch on. The deal is, though, Beav, it's the celebrity thing. Now, I don't know what their business model would have to be for, like, what you'd have to pay Steve Carell, to come and do celebrity bowling. Right? Oh, man, how does that work? Did they used to have to pay those celebrities to come and make guest appearances on their game shows and stuff?
I don't know. It seems like back in the day, it seems like the celebrities of back in the day would have been more open to coming on for free.
Yeah.
And doing that.
Yeah.
Now, like college football players, I want money.
Right.
Celebrity bowling, pay for play.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of sports version. See, I don't know that I would, because, if you tried to do a sports version of it, where it was, let's say, for charity, and it's a series and it airs in the summer, okay, and it's just like every Tuesday or Wednesday night on ESPN, and this week it's Dak Prescott versus, Aaron Judge, celebrity bowling. Well, that's not going to be as interesting to me because, one, not all athletes are that funny. Two, they're athletes, and so they make things look easy. Part of this clip that I watched that I sent you was you had Cindy, the girl who played Cindy Brady, and the kid who played Peter Brady, bowling against a couple, like this redheaded kid and one of the actors from the Waltons. And none of them were any good at all. They're missing everything and gutter balls. And that's interesting. Now, Peter right there, what do you call it when you hit it and instead of a strike, there's one left standing? I'm not a bowling expert. I don't know what you call that. Anyway, Beav, really? I'm talking, tell me I'm lying when I say, if you knew tonight at 7 o'clock, appointment viewing like the old days, not streaming, not on demand, appointment viewing, it's going to air live at 7 o'clock on NBC, The Office versus Parks and Rec Celebrity Bowling, it would be appointment viewing for you, would it not?
I'd look at it. I'd definitely look at it.
I would too. What else could you do? Office versus Parks and Rec. What else could you do, B? What would be the other celebrities?
Let's see. Of course, I'm bringing in the It's Always Sunny crew because, they can't make new episodes of the show, so you might as well get them out there bowling, I guess, since we want to do everything else in the world except for what got you here.
Right.
By the way, that new Caitlin Olsen show.
Yeah.
I told you I was pleasantly surprised.
You gave it a chance.
Let me tell you, since this is Tuesday, they've run 2 episodes, and last week at the end, they always show what's coming up in the next episode.
Yeah.
Okay, there's been 2 episodes, and the first thing I hear is, in 2 weeks on High Potential. 2 weeks, and you're already taking a break. Right on.
What, do they have like open dates like we do in sports?
Yep.
That's funny. Yeah, okay, so The Office, Parks and Rec, Always Sunny. See, my problem is, I don't know any other shows. Shoot, man, that's my problem. What other shows do we have right now? I don't know any other shows. I don't know. Well, Hunter suggested Pros versus Joes. That was a neat deal back in the day. You could do that. Bowling, Pros versus Joes bowling. See, it'd be easy to produce for TV because it's not outdoors. It's not like you're out having a celebrity golf match, following them around all across 18 acres,
Why don't we go? We're talking about tonight specifically. Tonight is that loose vice presidential debate. Why don't we just instead have a bowl against each other? You win this bowling game, you've won the debate. That's the debate.
The debate is bowling. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm starting to have all these strange iterations, though, pop up in my head, Beaver. I can picture, like, what if we had a deal at the radio station? A pros versus Joes for charity. And it was a bowling thing. We could do that. You think Jake's a good bowler?
He'll tell you he is.
He will?
He'll tell you that it's a stone-cold lead pipe lock that he'll win that bowling game.
What about Bo? You think he's a good bowler?
No, he's very frail, so I don't imagine he could pick up a ball.
See, I'm a very good bowler, even though I don't bowl. I just know I can do it. It ain't that hard, really. I just, all you got to do is roll it down there and knock the pins down. What's hard about that? Beef? It's not hard. And yes, I will admit, I'm the guy that in years past, I'm the guy that, you go and you don't necessarily bowl a great score, but you have a couple of strikes in there. And so it's pretty clear you can do it. And that's your takeaway. My score ultimately was bad. And the other thing is, too, I am that guy that I really enjoyed seeing how many miles per hour I could put on that ball on the way down there. Like, I don't want to just knock them down. I want to see if it's possible to bust one of them. Boom! That's what I want to hear when my ball hits the other end down there. I want that, whatever that thing is in the back, behind the pins back there, I want that ball hitting it going, pow! What is that about a guy that makes him that way? Immaturity? Okay, got it. Bulldog Blitz texted the show and said, Beef stole my idea. And then he says, Jake 100% has the best bowler vibe. Said Jake's got a good bowler vibe. Beef, you ever been bowling?
Yeah, it's been a long time. I enjoy bowling.
Mm-hmm.
Or I used to. The last time I did it. I can't. Well, this was always so strange. It frustrated me. Maybe that's why I haven't done it in so long. First, I do remember when I used to bowl, my arm. So you bring it back.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's like an underhand motion, but my weird arm, hand, whatever, I bring it back, and I remember when I would bring it forward, I couldn't even help it. My wrist would turn before the ball was thrown. It would rotate, and I never knew why.
Yeah, well, it's just a training and a strength thing. That's all it is. It sounds like to me you're using a ball that's too heavy. Really. There's no shame in needing to use a lighter bowling ball, Beef.
Okay, so in this segment, I have learned that you think I'm lazy, and now you think I'm weak.
I'm sorry. That's not what I think. I know that's how it came out. Beef, honestly, here's the problem I've always run into every time somebody goes, hey, let's go bowling. Okay, let's go. And we just spontaneously up and went. Here's what I run into. 2 things. Number 1, bowling shoes. I wear a size 15. Most of the time they have 15s, but sometimes they wouldn't. Or sometimes they'd have one pair of size 15 bowling shoes. Beaver, have you ever looked at in person a pair of size 15 bowling shoes?
I can't say I have.
Let me tell you what they look like. Clown shoes. They look like clown shoes. Okay, that's fine. I look at them and go, why do I need those? I don't need those. What do you need those? Why am I getting shoes? I've got shoes. Right now, I'm wearing shoes. I don't need your shoes. But then the other thing is, my hands don't fit bowling balls very often. Like, I'll go walking through there and like look at, they got 100 bowling balls strewn about, and finding one that fits my hand with my fingers and their ability to go down in the holes, I can't. It's like my fingertips would go in the holes, but that's it. Because I have abnormally large hands. And they don't make bowling balls for people like me. Or shoes, for that matter. Beaver, I do not think you're weak. I took it as you said it'd been a long time. It could have been when you were a kid. You're not that old. That's what I was thinking. Like, you know, you see a kid that picks up a bowling ball that's twice as heavy as he needs. He can't really muscle it around. That's all I meant. I did now see it's piling up though. At first you took offense. I'm like, were you awake at 8:30 in the morning?
Yeah.
It was
Saturday.
Saturday.
Then it turned into, can you lift 8 pounds?
That is not how I meant it. Although this is funny, and I do appreciate the laugh. Jason in Flagstaff says, back when I bowled regularly, you didn't mess with people who had hair like Mr. Jake. Jake absolutely has bowling hair, doesn't he? Tell him I said that, B, when you see him. Celebrity bowling. Me versus Jake. Y'all stick around. Back after this.
Thursday, it's Cosby starting off a night of family fun. And leave it to Family Ties to keep the laughs coming.
Oh, no. What are we going to do? Everything's under control.
Then on Cheers, will Norm fink on a friend to get a promotion?
Yeah, yes, yes.
And the fun continues with Night Court. Thursday.
For over half a century, dairymen have tried to capture in cans the flavor of pure, fresh milk. And now Foremost has discovered the secret with an evaporated milk that's closest by far to fresh milk itself.
Kind of hard to believe, isn't it? An evaporated milk that doesn't have that old-fashioned evaporated milk taste. But it's true, and you can prove it. You know how most evaporated milks taste in coffee. The flavor goes flat. But try Foremost. You'll see it's white, the way milk ought to look, not drab tan like other brands. And when you taste it, well, if you're anything like me, you'll never even know it isn't pure, fresh cream. You try it and see. That's Foremost, the closest thing in cans to pure, fresh milk. Remember, your family gets the most from Foremost.
Coca-Cola, come on, girl. Gotta share a Coke with you. Let the feeling show through. You wanna live a little bit more. That's what the taste of Coke is for. Coke is like everybody wants a little life. Coca-Cola, Coke is like everybody wants.
Come on, Harry, come on. We're getting our picture taken.
Special moments. Times of your life you'll want to remember. In pictures.
Smile, Howard. Smile.
To help make those pictures look as good as they can, make sure Kodak paper is behind them. If you don't see these words, it isn't Kodak paper. Just look for this sign when you get your pictures. Kodak paper, for a good look at the times of your life.
See, wasn't that fun?
Come and get it. Come and get it.
Stop the confusion. Stop the confusion. Everybody wants to get into the act with Kellogg's Variety Pack. Buster wants the cornflakes. Pop wants a pep. Mama loves the raisin bran. Mama is hip. Sister loves Rice Krispies. And there's Uncle Jack. He loves Kellogg's shredded wheat. Kellogg's makes it fun to eat. Breakfast with Variety Pack. Okay, folks, there's your favorite individual box of cereal. Fresh from Kellogg's Variety Pack. Untouched by human hands, except your own. That don't mean you gotta eat with them. Each individual box comes to you FOD, fresh on delivery from Battle Creek, right to your own dish. Yeah, everybody wants to get into the act with Kellogg's Variety Pack. Yes, sir, Kellogg's Variety Pack.
Here comes the one, the delicious one. Heinz is the big red one. There's only one ketchup with this flavor pouring on. It's so thick, so rich, so second to none.
Only one ketchup stands for this kind of thickness with this kind of taste. Heinz.
Heinz is the big rich one.
I love the rich, whole wheat goodness of Kellogg's Mini Wheats. But the delicious frosted side makes the rich kid in me open wide.
The nutritious shredded wheat helps keep me on my toes. But the little ballerina in me thinks the taste steals the show.
Kellogg's Mini Wheats, wholesome shredded wheat for the adult and you, great taste for the
All for you.
Just listen to that!
At The Zone 105.9 and coming to you worldwide at TheZone1059.com.
All right, here we go. Rolling along with you. I'm Matt in the Bureau, the Mississippi Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Going to get into some headlines for those that just tuned in, maybe top of the second hour or after early in hour one. If you came along then, we'll jump into headlines here in just a bit. A few, one from today, a couple from yesterday and overnight. We'll get into those. Mentioned Farm Bureau Insurance, really thankful for them. Local, hometown heroes, local agents, every county in Mississippi. The great thing about Farm Bureau Insurance, for example, got your auto insurance with Mississippi Farm Bureau Insurance. You have that fender bender on a, Saturday night, 11 p.m. Everybody else is asleep or whatever. They show up. You got a cell phone number right there. Your agent lives down the street. He lives in the same town as you. That's his job. You text him, hey, I got a question. Boom, he's there. You're going to see him at church on Sunday morning. It's the kind of people you see out to eat after church, sitting beside you at the ball games on Friday night. They are local. And if you even need to, quote unquote, run something up the chain at Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi, you know where it goes? Jackson. It's as far as it's going. You're not sitting on hold, some 800 number with somebody, some other state at a call center. You get to deal with local people. And that's, I would say, primary reason that I've always been a fan of Mississippi Farm Bureau Insurance. I've always been able to partner with them. And it's why our family, the Wyatts, our home, life, auto, it's with Mississippi Farm Bureau Insurance. I highly, highly recommend them. Headlines.
Good evening. I'm Ron Burgundy, and this is what's happening in your world.
Good evening, and welcome to Eyewitness News.
Here's what's making news.
Pete Rose, baseball's career hits leader, passes away at 83. Our headlines are brought to you by the Mortgage Man Group, powered by Bank of England. Went McGee. Went. Check them out at mortgagemanms.com. Historic achievements, Hall of Fame dreams were dashed by gambling on the game. Pete Rose, the all-time hits leader in baseball, passed away yesterday at the age of 83. Spokesperson for Clark County, Nevada, confirmed on behalf of the medical examiner that Pete Rose passed away yesterday. He was found by a family member. They're going to investigate, but they don't believe there's any signs of foul play or anything like that. So, number 14 for the Reds, Charlie Hustle, rest in peace. Also, similar bad news in the NBA yesterday. Dikembe Mutombo, a shot blocker, Hall of Famer, finger-wagging center who spent much of his post-basketball career as an ambassador for basketball. He passed away yesterday at the age of 58 from brain cancer. He battled it for 2 years, was going to treatment in Atlanta for a long, long time, and finally succumbed yesterday at the age of 58. And a third headline here, according to sources, this is over at ESPN. The Big Ten and the SEC are in talks about a possible scheduling partnership. Now, let me give you some more of the details on this, and I kind of touched on it, and it sparked a little bit of a conversation about it on the text line and elsewhere in hour one. Let me give you a few more details that are in this story. This is according to ESPN. I'm going to need some more coffee for this. Hot coffee from High Point Roasters in New Albany, Mississippi. Go to highpointroasters.com. You can have what I have. Campfire Blend is what it's called. That's what I'm on right now. Big 1 pound bag of it. I grind it up. All right, here we go. The Big Ten and the SEC, their athletic directors, are going to discuss a possible partnership in football scheduling, along with their preferences for automatic bids in the next iteration of the college football playoff. Did y'all catch that? So to translate, they're fixing to get together, Big Ten and the SEC, and collectively, together, they're going to say, we're going to schedule each other in football, and here's how many spots we want in the new playoff. Because here's what they know. They can get whatever they want. Now let that sink in a minute. Even as it stands right now, the SEC and the Big Ten separately, individually, can get whatever they want in the playoff and anything else. So when they get together, they're fixing to get together, and they're going to come up with an idea of each together kind of collectively, what do they want? And whatever they want, they're going to get it. Now, what I hear and what I'm told is every year we're going to have a 12-team playoff. They want 4 teams automatic from the Big Ten. They want 4 teams automatic from the SEC, and they leave 4 spots for everybody else. The discussion is going to take place at an in-person meeting in Nashville next week. This meeting it's not the first, it's a continuation of the Big Ten SEC advisory group. That's been a collaborative thing. They formed that back in February. That advisory group is made up of presidents from schools in both leagues, chancellors, athletics directors from schools in both leagues. See, it's a continuation. It's not the first meeting between these two. It's the next. The steps are already being taken. Sankey, the commissioner of the SEC, Petitti, the commissioner of the Big Ten, they're going to meet up there for one day with them, but you got ADs doing all this stuff. One Big Ten source gave this quote: "There is hope that we can definitely move the needle and make some progress on different things." Now, what could those things be? Scheduling. They're going to solve scheduling issues for each other, while simultaneously, by simultaneously throwing more bones at the TV partners who are funding them, right? And give them more better games. You're going to have Michigan playing Tennessee in a regular season. Stuff like that. Who doesn't want that? We all do. But also, I guarantee you, among those quote-unquote different things that they're going to discuss and make progress on is pay for play. How to wrangle it, not how to eliminate it, how to wrangle it and corral it so that they can wield it more positively, more practically, sensibly. I guarantee you that's what it is. Because again, like I said earlier, here's a hypothetical. It's totally hypothetical. Let's just say that off in the future, there's a collaboration and a joint, basically, partnership between the Big Ten and the SEC. They together lock up together. And, a few that are outside of the Big Ten and the SEC, Notre Dame, Clemson, Florida State, maybe BYU, some Boise, I don't know. A few of those all come in. And now what are we talking about? See, now we're talking about 35 teams, 40 teams, and they're going to do their own thing. And they will put a cap on pay for play and manage it a lot and police each other a lot like the NFL. They will follow the NFL model. That's what Las Vegas wants anyway. And if Vegas wants it, you know TV wants it. And they'll do it. And then people will go, they will naturally think, wait a minute. If they do that, they put some kind of cap on it and how they pay the players and what they will pay the players, some sort of, not restraints, but just structure around it, and they police it. Then some big shot player out of high school or transfer who can drive a high price is going to not go to one of those schools in that power conference league, in that super league. They're going to go to TCU. They're going to go to SMU out in Dallas, and some SMU alum is going to pay him $5 million to come out there, and that great player is going to go to SMU. And they're going to miss out because he don't want to go and be capped on what he can make in the pay-for-play system they have in the Super League of the Big Ten SEC. And you know what the Big Ten and SEC are going to do? Okay. Good luck. Maybe people will watch your games online because they're not going to watch them live on ABC or Fox or CBS or ESPN. Fine. We can't have everybody. But if you want to play in the primetime spots and if you want to compete for our national championship and everything that comes along with it, you want to play at 6 o'clock on ABC on Saturday night, you got to be playing one of our games. And like I said, it will be no different than like when Herschel Walker signed with the USFL out of Georgia instead of going to the NFL. What did he do? He eventually transferred, went to the NFL. And it'll be no different. I think that's just one step in the direction, because what I think is ADs, commissioners, they realize there is no leadership outside of themselves. So they better get together and do it collaboratively, and they're going to break off and become this super league. It's going to be primarily the SEC and the Big Ten. That's what we're headed towards. All right, phone calls when we come back. Stick around.
Today's game from Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Time was their breakfasts were gloomy. They just didn't feel right, and they didn't know a delicious cereal could help their sad plight. So they tried this and tried that, but irregularity kept coming back all the same. For as often the case, lack of bulk in their diet was actually to blame. Once at the grocer's, the wife was so drooping and sagging that a neighbor said, "Get on Kellogg's All-Bran wagon. Why, All-Bran has a flavor that's scrumptious to eat. So rich and nut-like, makes breakfast a treat. And of course, Kellogg's All-Bran can help you each day to youthful regularity, the dietary way." "Well, it might do some good," said the wife with a sigh. "Guess I'll get some All-Bran and give it a try." Soon, breakfasts at her house were happy and bright, for delicious Kellogg's All-Bran set their day off right. Yes, All-Bran supplies all the bulk in your diet, you see, that you may need for youthful regularity. And no half-brand cereal possibly can provide this help as surely as Kellogg's All-Bran. A delicious, non-habit-forming aid to your diet. You're sure to like All-Bran. Just buy it and try it.
Get on the Kellogg's All-Bran wagon with the best bran in the land. The cereal that tastes grand, the cereal that's All-Bran, a breakfast treat that can't be beat. Be a regular guy and climb aboard the All-Bran wagon. Eat Kellogg's All-Bran.
What is the secret of this enchanted book? What wonders are hidden within its pages? What magical spell does it cast on all who read it? What is the secret of the never-ending story?
But that's impossible!
You will enter a world where a young boy's imagination becomes a vivid reality. The world of Atreyu and Artax, the Rockbiter, and a good and kind gnome. A world that is vast and eternal, treacherous and dazzling, unforgettable and free. For anyone who's ever made a wish, believed in a fantasy, or had a dream, this is the never-ending story.
It's a new thing. It's a fun thing. It's a swing wing.
It's a what?
It's a swing wing. It's a wing wing. A brand new transgrand fun thing.
It's a what?
It's a swing wing. A fun thing. And now it's your favorite store thing.
It's a what?
Mazda announces some great news for truck buyers. Right now, you can beat the already outstanding value of the $67.95 Mazda SE5. Introducing Mazda SE5 Plus 5. $625.
Matt Wyatt, right here, right now. On the Zone 105.9 and worldwide at the Zone1059.com.
All right, back with you. I'm Matt in the Bureau. Beaver's here. We're all here and over on the phone. The Divinity Equipment phone line. Rooster on line 1. What's up, Rooster? Thanks for being patient.
Hey, that's all right, guys. Yeah, I wasn't going to call in any Rooster bravado today, but I heard your 2 or 3 times you mentioned number 14.
Mm-hmm.
Coincidentally, I wore 14 all the way from Little League, Babe Ruth, semi-pro, church league. I was number 14.
How many hits you
Not
have?
for chance, just an accident. And, I've still got those jerseys. Can you believe that?
How about that? That is cool.
Well, no, Little League, I've got pictures. I don't have actual jerseys. That was 1956.
Okay.
A long time ago. It's kind of sad about Pete. It really was. But the tie-in, I want to plug the baseball playoffs. We got Baltimore, for instance. We got Mississippi State connection with the Royals and the Orioles today. Big time Mississippi State connection.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Hunter Renfroe hit a home run the other night against the Braves, darn it. So, but I was going to more Rooster negativity.
All right, okay.
8 bars and cafes yesterday, and not a one of them carrying the Atlanta Braves game. I couldn't get it. 8 cafes and bars. I was in downtown Jackson, Mississippi. I think about the good old days when you could get about 10 baseball games of everything.
Yeah.
I think about when I was a sports editor, 180,000 people in Jackson watching football on one Saturday.
Yeah.
It ain't a sports town anymore. No. And I don't know when the last attraction is. Of course, now we've got no Braves over in Pearl. They're not there. But I don't want to be negative. I'm too negative as it is after 80 years living in the capital city. Hopefully it will get better. Hopefully it will be better than 25. We're probably going to have another team hopefully move into Trustmark Park.
Well, yeah, okay, but let's think about something, Rooster. It's a total hypothetical, but let's just say, what if you had visited those same places on a college football Saturday? Well, then they obviously all would have college football on and would have State or Ole Miss on if they were playing, right? I mean, you agree with that?
For sure.
Yeah, and see, so I'm like, as you were saying that, what I'm thinking is part of it is the decline of baseball in terms of its distribution and interest. certainly since Rob Manfred became the commissioner, because, you know, I guess what I'm saying is, you know, there's a lot of people who, if you were to look at the NFL or look at college football, who are not necessarily lifelong diehard fans of a team, but they have interest, and it's sort of a cultural thing. And baseball used to be that way. It's not that way anymore. You know, you could go back 80s, 90s. You might disagree, Rooster, but you tell me, you go back 80s, 90s, man, there were Braves fans on every street corner. But a lot of that was because of the distribution. You could watch every game easily. It wasn't outside of your normal television viewing stuff. And you look at what Major League Baseball under Rob Manfred has done in terms of distributing its product. It is asinine what they've done. And so even for people like me, I've been pulling for the Braves all my life. It is so difficult and costs so extra money to go out here just to be able to watch their games. I'm not doing it. And so I've kind of been off the wagon. And I just think that's probably the case for a lot of other people. That's what I think. Yeah.
Well, to wrap it up, probably they did me a favor, because if I'd have watched that game, probably would have had a heart attack. You know, the way that thing wound up. Holy cow! And bless the hearts, they got to be in San Diego tonight after playing the doubleheader yesterday.
I mean,
holy cow!
I know it.
Gosh,
that's tough.
But anyway, yeah, and I didn't mean to plug, but baseball, I believe, is the future of America. We get baseball back, we get America back, and it's too bad about Charlie Hustle, it is, but you know, too bad we couldn't get this Hall of Fame thing resolved. I think I heard must have been Johnny Bench on another sports show talking about that. Too bad we couldn't get it resolved before he passed away.
Yeah, right.
But anyway,
yeah,
we got a great. Like I said, when I leave here, when I hang up, I got to go pay a C-Spire bill, and then got to get to a bar that's got all those games. I don't know. You got a customer that you recommend?
What?
Not downtown Jackson. No,
as far as
it's going to be in Rankin and Madison County.
Okay, as far as going and watching it, no, I don't have one I recommend.
Yeah, the rest of the day we got Baltimore and the Royals, it's Mississippi State resume,
and you got Tigers and Astros going on right now, still scoreless. You mentioned it, Rooster. The Royals-Orioles game. You got state alums on both teams. It's a 3:00 game on ESPN2. At 4:30 on ESPN is Mets Brewers, and then tonight on ESPN 7:30 Braves Padres. You're right. Like, the Braves going to get off the plane. You know, they slept on the plane all night, and get off the plane and put their uniform on and try to go win a game tonight. It's about how it is.
Unreal.
Yeah.
And listen, the Bulldogs, in with them. They're not a 38-point underdog. They're not playing.
Not this week.
Listen, bless their hearts. Let me shut up. The War Eagles, they got to play Georgia.
Oh, this week?
Yes, they got to go to Athens. And I think it's 24 points. But I would assume Kirby Smart is not happy. So it won't be a nice day for you, please. No.
I would not think he is a happy man this week. And they're at home. So how about that? Georgia.
They can lose by 38. It could be a 38-point game.
It could. Georgia at home this week against Auburn, and then the next week they'll be at home against Mississippi State. So we'll see if they're.
Yeah, don't mention that.
We'll cross that bridge.
Listen, you guys have a good day. Let's hope the teams all win and more home runs from Renfro.
All right. Appreciate it, Rooster. Thanks for the call. This weekend, state's off. A&M hosting Missouri, 11 a.m., 2:30 ABC. Where's my music? 2:30. Here it is. 2:30 ABC. Yeah, that's Auburn at Georgia. Georgia's smarting pretty good after getting whipped. Yeah, they came back, made it interesting. They had a chance. 2:30 on ESPN. At the same time, you're going to have Ole Miss at South Carolina. You know, Ole Miss kind of the same boat as Georgia, coming off that loss, but got to hit the road. And, you know, I don't know. It's like after Ole Miss loses to Kentucky, neither Ole Miss nor South Carolina feel like a team where you really confidently know what you're going to get out of them. 3:15 on the SEC Network Saturday, you get Alabama at Vanderbilt. Bama is the new number 1 now. 6:30 Saturday night on ABC is Tennessee at Arkansas. And then 6:45 on the SEC Network Saturday night, it is UCF at Florida. UCF is 3-1 now after losing to Colorado at home this past week. Florida was off this past week, so 2 weeks ago they beat State. Florida's 2-2, UCF 3-1. And UCF is actually a favorite in Gainesville, if you realize that. KJ Jefferson is a starting quarterback for UCF. 800 yards passing this year, 7 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. So that's your SEC games this weekend. What is it, Tuesday? So we're going to watch a game on Thursday night. Thursday night you get Texas State at Troy, Sam Houston at UTEP. So, y'all probably not going to watch some of those. Let's see. Who's the Thursday night NFL? Okay, Thursday night NFL. There it is on Prime Video. I don't know, better not depend on Herb Street to keep you awake. And Al Michaels. But it is a good ball game. Bucks at Falcons. NFC South Division game. Buccaneers coming off the win over Philadelphia. Whipped up on them pretty good, actually. 7:15 kick in Atlanta in the Dome. Buccaneers are 3-1. They have won a road game. That was at Detroit in week 2. The Falcons are at home 2-2 on the year after beating New Orleans by 2 points. And they've played 4 games and 3 of them been at home. They're only 1-2 at home. The Falcons only played 1 road game there in the early going. They are a slight favorite. And so that'd be an interesting game to watch Thursday nights. That's probably what everybody's going to tune into. Which, you have games like that on the NFL schedule on Thursday night. There's a reason that ESPN does not put really big-time matchups opposite it on the college football side, because they know everybody around the country is going to turn on the NFL stuff. People still holler and scream and kick their feet and say, I told you that nobody can tell me that the NFL is a better product than college football. Don't take their word for it. Just look at how many people watch the NFL versus college football. It's not really comparable. All right. That'll do it for today. For Beaver, I'm Matt. I'm going to break out our indoor s'mores maker tonight and send Beaver some video of it. And then we'll come back and discuss it tomorrow. Same time, same place. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you then. See ya.